Why you always in the mood? Fuck around like I'm brand new. I ain't tryna tell you what to do, but try to play it cool. Baby, I ain't playing by your rules. Everything look better with a view. Why you always in the mood? Fuck around like I'm brand new. I ain't tryna tell you what to do, but try to play it cool. Baby, I ain't playing by your rules. Everything look better with a view.
We have a special guest on the show today. 23-year-old Malik Senegal, the youngest African American Boeing 777 pilot in the world. Malik, how's it going?
Pretty good. I appreciate you guys inviting me on today. It's a great opportunity.
We're excited to have this conversation with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You're 23 years old. You're a pilot. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing and how'd you get to this point of becoming a pilot?
It all started back when I was around 2 years old. My godmother was in the business department for Delta Airlines at the time, and she would come down almost every weekend to Gulfport, Mississippi to come pick me up. And we would go out to Atlanta for the weekends and meet all the different types of pilots, especially black pilots, because I did not even know that, I could even achieve such a thing till I saw one in person. And it all started from there. And then I think around my junior or senior year of high school, that's when I did my first flight lesson, and I've just been hitting it hard from there.
Did you have any other dreams as a kid? Did you play sports? Were you into any other hobbies and activities?
Yeah, I did hockey for a while. I stopped that because it didn't end up making my skate size past size, I think 16. I wear 18 now. So I had to stop playing hockey because they did not have skates in my size. And then I started playing basketball for a little bit, but I was horrible at it. So I just went with band and aviation.
That's what's up. I got some family from that Biloxi area. What I'm trying to figure out exactly how I should ask this, but what is the temperature like in that area? I've been there. Me and my brother on this show as well. Trey been there. We both been there. What's that area like? What's the dynamics of the city for African Americans?
Yeah, so it just depends on where you live. They call it the east side and west side Biloxi. The east side of Biloxi is where all the predominantly African American people are, and the west side is more where the Caucasian or richer areas. It just depends on where you are, and I feel bad for the people on the east side sometimes because there's not many opportunities over there. It's almost like there's a line. They don't cross one another for some reason. I don't know why that's the case, but ever since Hurricane Katrina hit and they started building more buildings, Salvation Army and different things, it's gotten a lot better. Where there's a lot more opportunities for the African American kids to get involved with whatever they want to do. So it's gotten a lot better. And I guess I hate to say this, but it's almost like the hurricane did us some good because it brought more opportunities, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely understand that, Malik. This is Mr. Donovan. And it's like you said, that even though it was something bad, the hurricane, you got to look at certain positives that comes from negatives. But
definitely.
In connection to the question that he asked, and being, the youngest black pilot, 23, did you deal with anything in that process? Any of those things in that process with racism or anything like that?
Oh, definitely. You don't notice it until you get a little bit older and you're like, well, maybe that was kind of racist. Going through some flight training, things were harder to me. It's almost like I was put to a higher standard. Mm-hmm. And I guess it was meant for my harm, but I guess they really didn't know they were making me better at the end of the day, Yeah. So, there was a lot of things like that went on, especially with just standards and, just making your flight training harder. They may say, well, you're not ready to go do this certain maneuver yet. You really are, but they're just trying to charge you more money, try to get you out of aviation at the end of the day. So, yeah, stuff like that.
So, Malik, this is Champagne Reek here. So speaking of racial tensions, what were some of the obstacles that you had to go through to become the youngest black pilot to fly a 777 Boeing?
Yeah, some of the obstacles I had to go through, the main thing is, getting all your ratings and flight times, trying to get that first job that helped me get through. When I was going through flight school, I didn't have 300 hours when I finished, with all my flight instructor ratings. I had over close to 1,700 hours. So as soon as I finished college, I skipped my own graduation to go get a job at the airlines for United Express at the time. Yeah, it was just, a constant struggle, but, it made me better.
So I know, I think I saw an interview, and you mentioned that you didn't know that it was only 3% of commercial airline pilots that are black. How did it make you feel making history?
Oh, it was very exciting. I knew that there was a very small percentage of black pilots. For example, I've never flown with other black pilots, especially when I was at the airlines. Yet alone, I knew some of them, and at my specific airline, I think we only had 4 of us in total. And the odds of us flying together was maybe slim to none. It was never going to happen. But as far as making history, I didn't even know that I had done such a thing until I got back home and I got the call from Boeing. And I honestly, couldn't believe it. So it was a really, really cool opportunity.
So I have another question. So the
Yeah, sure.
777 airplane is, I read that most pilots don't even touch that airplane until they're in their late 40s and 50s. How did you get on the fast track of becoming a pilot so fast? Like, can you describe that process?
Yeah, definitely. For the 777, I lucked out and won 2 type rating scholarships, which a type rating is you go to school, you do about 40 hours of ground school, learning about the airplane systems and all. And then you go through the simulator session. Now, the ground school is the easy part. You can learn anything if you try. The hard part is the sims. You have to be able to fly the airplane. If you can't do it, they're not going to pass you, especially, with the FAA being so strict on these pilots nowadays. So, yeah, I won 2 type rated scholarships in the 777 and the Airbus, which I'm training on right now. So, I just very, very lucked out on it. It never really happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Champagne Reek again. So I did a little research on you. And I noticed that you did a lot of this for your grandmother. Like, what role did she play in your upbringing and wanting to be a pilot?
She was pretty much my biggest motivator. She raised me when I was younger, along with my grandfather, so my mom could go to school and become an anesthesiologist. So, if you saw her go one place, I was always by her side. I had pictures of me just hugging onto her leg everywhere I went. But yeah, she was pretty much my biggest motivator when I was in college or, going through flight school. Every morning at 4 a.m., she would give me a call saying, wake my butt up and start studying. So she was one of my, biggest motivators that helped me keep that same work ethic and even harder now that she passed on,
That's what's up. That's dope.
What school did you attend? As far as college, what school did you learn to do your flights at?
Yeah, so I did a little bit of private training in Gulfport, Mississippi, but I knew I needed a 4-year degree. I went over to Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi. It's about 2 hours south of Memphis, Tennessee.
So what's next, man? At age 23, this one is a great accomplishment. What are you trying to accomplish next?
Yeah, so right now I'm going through school on the Airbus A320. It's a little bit smaller than the 777, well, a lot smaller. And then also I just started captain training on the Embraer 145 down in Montgomery, Alabama. It's a black-owned airline, actually. That's brand new. So it's pretty exciting with some things going down.
What's the name of the airlines again?
CityJet Incorporated out of Montgomery, Alabama.
How important is it for you to work with either the black youth or black companies like the company you just mentioned?
It's very important, but, I'm not one of those people who say, oh, if it's not all black, I'm not going to work for it, because it's good to be done everywhere. But, it's very important, not just black kids. It's more, minority kids because, a lot of females don't think they can do this either. So it's very important, try to give back. If you just try to wait, it's, it's never the right time to give back. So it's important to start, earlier rather than later because you never know who you may affect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Who'd you grow up idolizing?
I grew up idolizing one guy was Captain Cal Flanagan. He was a Boeing 777 black pilot who actually took me to Anchorage, Alaska on my first trip. And when I met him, I knew that that's what I wanted to do one day. He just retired about maybe 4 years ago, and the guy never missed a day at work. He was the #1 pilot at Delta for a long while as well. So he was definitely one guy that I wanted to try to idolize if I could.
Yeah. So Malik, understand that you have this organization for professional minority pilots. What are some of your goals, and how do you plan to achieve them with this program?
Yeah, so that's an organization back in January I founded. I'm still in the works and stuff before I publish it out there. But my main goal is to try to get more minority pilots into flying. And, you don't have to be a minority pilot in order to reach out and try to get help. But it's mainly for, female pilots and African-American, Latino, Asian pilots to try to come over here, get free ground lessons from me over online in case they can't afford it and, just start learning about aviation. Then we're going to try to provide some scholarships to where they can sign up, or if they do well in classes, we'll give them, I don't know, say a $200 scholarship where you can go out and get your first flight lesson or something like that. Just showing that you're motivated and this is something that you actually want to do.
Gotcha. Hey, Malik, I have a question for you. You said you flew out of Anchorage. And when I was stationed at Anchorage, I remember those flights out of different parts of Alaska, and those were some of the scariest flights I ever took. What was your scariest flights? And have you ever had like any fears of flying?
I don't think I've ever had a scary flight because you're so in the moment of getting whatever the problem is done that you don't realize it until after. So I really don't even know. I think worse things happen in the simulator than in real life.
So Malik, I'm gonna be honest, man. Like sometimes when I fly, like it depends on like what airline I'm flying with. But some pilots are different, man. Some make the ride more smoother, and some you just like the turbulence from when you land to when you take off.
Yeah.
So what? Yeah. So how did like with the skill set? Like how does that work?
Yeah, so as far as that, the only thing that different airlines do is say some airlines want to fly fast to get there because they don't really care about the fuel costs. So some say, let's save money. But as far as the rest of it, turbulence you can't control because honestly, there's not a thing out there that can really tell you where's turbulence at, So as far as that, it's not really a pilot thing. It's just more of whatever happens in a type of way. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What is not accurate till it happens.
Right.
Yeah, because I used to blame the pilots. Like, yo, what is going on here?
Trust me, we don't like it either. We just want to go home.
Exactly.
So what do you do in your downtime when you're not flying? You're not being extra responsible as a 23-year-old. Like, what's life like with the ladies in the downtime?
No, I really don't have any of that going on. I've been really busy lately with study and all for a while since I got all this training going on. But as far as anything else, I'll go just flight instruction, or when I was at the airlines, I would send money home and I would pay for some of my students' lessons. So, I'm always in an airplane just trying to build experience and try to help somebody else out achieve their goals,
I have a question for you, Malik. Since you said that your grandma was a big inspiration to your life, and it's the holidays, it's Thanksgiving. What's one of the favorite dishes that you had from your grandma?
You said dishes?
Yes, one of your favorite holiday dish from your grandma.
Oh, it has to be the pound cake.
Oh man,
It has to be the pound cake. I'm telling you.
one of my favorites.
Yeah. Every time I go home, I had one to bring back with me to college. So it has to be that.
Another question in regards to your grandma. When you was planning that world tour, did you plan it in regards to places that she wanted to visit while she was here, or was it something personal that you wanted to accomplish?
It was more of that we both wanted to do. I remember, I think we had to been fifth grade, I believe. I had to do like a around the world project where you had to have different type of countries that you want to visit. And I remember we sat down at the table and she was like, well, what about here? What about here? So most of that came from that project, and it was something that I've always wanted to do and she wanted to do. So it was something that could, something I was really looking forward to. It was a really cool trip because I really didn't pay for any of my plane tickets. I think at the most I spent $200 because I was always on the go, never staying in hotels, So it was a really fun trip.
Who's your favorite musician?
Favorite musician? Probably, I'm one of the older people from New Orleans, so it has to be Louis Armstrong.
Oh, that's a good
That's a
one.
good one though.
Oh,
For real.
definitely. Definitely.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good one.
Good one, though.
Oh, your grandma definitely was in her bag.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I got into Louis a little last year, and I got into a lot of like black jazz musicians when I had some not even last year, earlier this year when I had some pandemic time. I had some guys put me onto some jazz music. What's your favorite selection by Louis?
Oh, favorite selection probably would be Basin Street Blues or Now You Have Jazz when they had all the different people on there. So it's really cool. But as far as nowadays artists, I'll tell you what though, I don't agree with a lot of what this guy does, but I do like his motivation to guess just to piss people off. So he's 6'9", this is motivation. I don't care about anything else,
Oh my
But
god!
I mean, like I said, the work ethic though,
Wow.
So,
Did you watch the 6ix9ine documentary on Hulu?
I have not, and I probably don't think I want to. I don't have the brain cells to lose right now.
It's pretty interesting. I learned a lot about that guy watching that documentary.
Now you scare me. I don't care about anything else. I'm not really for his music though. Like his work ethic, I think it honestly is top notch though. So that's just me though.
So speaking of 6ix9ine and hip hop, what are some of the the hip hop artists that you're listening to nowadays?
Oh, nowadays it's almost like I really don't even have the time. I'm not trying to, put it out there, but I really don't have the time to sit there and listen to music like I used to when I was in high school. I've been off the music game for so long, and I probably couldn't even tell you anybody. I probably couldn't come up with somebody off my
But
head.
you're not a David Banner fan? Mississippi born and raised?
No.
No.
Wait, you said who now?
Yeah, long.
Oh, and I had to been like, what, 10 years old last time he put something out.
He's 23. Like that ain't gonna translate to that age demographic. David Banner haven't had a hit record in a long time.
Yeah, long.
What about Big Crit? Big Crit is more current.
I don't really know too much about him. I've heard a few of his things. I like some of his music. But, I was one of those. I like Drake when I was growing up in The Weeknd. People like that.
Okay, my man, Drake in The Weeknd. One of my faves.
Give me something to cry to.
Yeah.
What's something like the average person may not know about you? I'm pretty sure you're getting some good press run right now, but what's something the average person may not know about you, or something that may be misunderstood about you that you might want to tell us?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, I guess a lot of people think that everything is just given to me, or it's not easy. Not hard at all. Anybody can do this, but I think mostly it'd be the work ethic. They don't see the early mornings or late nights, or just seeing me, locked in my room 2 weeks at a time, just trying to accomplish whatever I'm trying to do, and not just do it, but do it well. Where people can remember me by. So that'd probably be the biggest thing.
Okay.
I know you mentioned earlier that one of your biggest aspirations is to inspire the youth, because growing up, that's what inspired you to become a pilot. What are some words of encouragement that you can give someone to become a pilot?
Yeah, the biggest thing I think would be that there's always going to be somebody telling you that you can't do something, you're not able to do it. But the thing that I have to remember is, nobody else controls your destiny. So there's always going to be someone pulling you down, and to me, crows can't fly with eagles. So, just keep on trying to climb and do better.
Absolutely. I agree.
All right. So, being that you've already accomplished a lot at 23, give me one thing that you have on your bucket list, if you've created one thing that you haven't done that you would love to do.
Yeah, I think my one thing on my bucket list that I have not done yet, and it's more of like dream jobs, would either be working for Delta Airlines or Alaska Airlines in the near future, whenever they hire again because of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So that's probably one of my biggest goals. And after that, I probably don't have anything else. I think I've done everything. But yeah, I think definitely work for Delta or Alaska in the near future. That would be one of my biggest goals.
All right, cool.
Who's the flyest person you know?
Me.
That's the right answer, bro. You got to
I'm telling you. Most definitely.
That's dope, man. You're gonna be on BET one day when they have this moment in Black history and all that fire stuff, man. It's encouraging. You're a dude that I'm gonna introduce my kids to. I've already showed them the greatness that you're doing. We've all introduced our kids to what you got going on. Just keep striving, keep pushing, keep going for Black excellence, my brother.
Yeah, we appreciate what you're doing.
Thanks so much, man. I really do appreciate it.
Definitely, man.
Oh, no, thank you.
All right, tell the people where they can find you at.
Yeah, you can get me on. You're probably gonna laugh at this because I had to change my Instagram username, but you can get me on Instagram at clout_pilot.jpg, like JPEG. And then that's pretty much it, because I don't really get on anything else. Or LinkedIn if you want to be professional.
I like that.
Definitely.
Will do. Thank you, Malik, for coming on, giving us your time, and sharing with our audience what you do, and continue to inspire us all. Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
No, thank you. Appreciate it. See you later.
Whoa. Yeah. Sometimes we laugh and sometimes we cry, but I guess you know now. Baby, I took a half and she took the whole thing. Slow down. Baby, we took a trip, now we on your block and it's like a ghost town. Baby, where did these niggas be at when they say they doing all this and all that? Tired of beefing you bums, you can't even pay me enough to react. Been waking up in the crib and sometimes I don't even know where I'm at. Please don't pay that nigga songs in this party, I can't even listen to that. Anytime that I run into somebody, it must be a victory lap. Hey, shawty come sit on my lap. Hey, they saying Drizzy just snap. This in between us is not like a store, this isn't a closable gap. Hey, I see some niggas attack. Sometimes we laugh and sometimes we cry, but I guess you know now. Baby, I took a half and she took the whole thing. Slow down. Baby, we took a trip, now we on your block and it's like a ghost town. Baby, where did these niggas be at when they say they doing all this and all that?
I'm in the trenches, relax. Can you not pet that little boy in the club? Cause we do not listen to rats. We in Atlanta, I buy her wig. She telling me Tay is the best. Pointed the nigga who act like a killer, but you only one from the net. I'm like the baby, I'm not just a rapper. You play with me, you gon' get stretched. Bring Drake to the hood. Surround Drake around Drakes. Even though I got a case, I'ma do what it take.
And I never been embraced, and the money's hard to make, so I bet they on their face right now. I know that they at the crib going crazy down bad. What they had didn't last, damn baby. Sometimes we laugh and sometimes we cry, but I guess you know now. Baby, I took a half and she took the whole thing. Slow down. Baby, we took a trip, now we on your block and it's like a ghost town. Baby, where did these niggas be at when they say they doing all this and all that? When he tell the story, that's not how it went. No, they be lying 100%. Moved out of the wrist and forgot about the bend. Now they just call me to tell me come get it. Now that boy off and I don't want no credit. If it was me, they wouldn't regret it. That people dead and now they won't dead it. Yeah. Heart is still beating, my niggas still eating. Backyard, it look like the garden they eating. Pillow talk with him, she spilling the tea. And then Shawty came back and said she didn't mean it. It's hard to believe it. I know that they at the crib going crazy down bad. What they had didn't last, damn baby. Sometimes we laugh and sometimes we cry, but I guess you know now. Baby, I took a half and she took the whole thing. Slow down. Baby, we took a trip, now we on your block and it's like a ghost town. Baby, where these niggas be at when they say they doing all this and all that?